Alicia Slick Ashley, welcome to Profile.
Thank you.
So you've had a busy career, busy life overall. I want to go through it in detail so that people understand the significance of your accomplishments. So Jamaica's most decorated female boxer and holder on 6 occasions of 4 major world titles in different weight classes, and one of the newest inductees into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. First of all, how does that feel?
It feels wonderful. For me, it was a little bit of a surprise because I recently retired, and most of the times it's 5 years after you're retired before they even consider putting you into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. So it was a major surprise to me when it happened.
No, the ceremony has actually taken place. So what was that experience like?
It was awesome. Meeting all these past champions that they've been inducted or haven't been inducted, but just being on that caliber of fighters to be in that arena it was wonderful. It was 4 days of events, and I'm still like reeling from it.
So you have had this amazing career that's taken you to this place, but one of the continuing most interesting things is that this was not the aim overall. Growing up in Jamaica early on, your aim was to become a dancer,
Yes.
partly because of your father as well.
Yes. I started dancing at age 6, and my goal was to become a professional dancer, which I pursued when I went to the USA. And I had a devastating knee injury at age 19, which curtailed my dance career. And it was just, it wasn't even my choice because I really didn't like boxing growing up. I just ended up in the martial arts, and it just snowballed effect from there.
Now, this is a family of very accomplished people overall. So your father and your 2 brothers as well, accomplished in different kinds of areas. What was the kind of environment that was created to make you want to do all of these different kinds of things?
I'm the youngest, so I always just wanted to follow in my brother's footsteps. They had to take care of me. So it was just overall a competitive environment, and I was always going to step up behind them. So they cannot leave me out of anything, which is kind of why I ended up just being a competitor. We're all competitors. So I think it was a foregone conclusion that I would do something.
And competitors in different fields as well. So let's talk a little bit about each of them. First of all, your father, accomplished dancer and choreographer. Tell me a little bit about how he raised all of you with this competitive spirit.
Well, I have to say that my grandmother raised me.
Yes.
Both my mom and my father both traveled to the USA. My mom left when I was a young child, pretty much a baby, to try to get a better life for us. So it's more of her being a single parent than anything. And I have to say that the women in my family instilled more in us. They're very strong individuals. And my grandmother and one of my uncles raised us until my mother was able to bring us to America at age 11. So even though my father was a dancer, performer, he was traveling the world. But my mom was the one that really, showcased that you have to work hard.
Is this what she was saying or also what she was doing?
It was both. It was both.
What was she saying to you at a young age?
It's just that you guys have to work hard. And we saw that in her, the fact that she worked extremely hard to always to send money home. She was always coming back to show that, even though she wasn't raising us herself, that work ended up being on my grandmother's shoulders, is that she was doing this for us. So it's just something that we knew that anything we did in life, we had to do wholeheartedly.
So grew up in Jamaica first and then migrating to the United States. It sounds like a bit of a massive change, especially with somebody who was young. How did you deal with it?
Well, I had my older brothers, and definitely my mom. She was always working hard, and I mean, New York City is a massive change from Jamaica. We always wanted to go to America and you know, you watch television and it just seemed like such a great life. And then you go there and you're like, no, you have to work twice as hard there, especially in the city, if you're not coming from money. And that was one thing. With the studies were always stressed, so we all had to have good grades, than anything else that you wanted to do. So even though I always wanted to dance, schoolwork, and then my dance.
So what was it about dancing in particular?
I just wanted to follow my dad's footsteps. And I really enjoyed it. It was my first love. And when I was injured, I was devastated.
So you have the injury now, and your brother says you start doing a little bit of karate, but your brother also is trying to get you involved in other areas.
No, he always wanted to get me into karate. Devon started karate here in Jamaica.
Yes.
So I had both my older brothers doing karate, and I was always doing dance. And for the longest time, he wanted to get me into martial arts, maybe because of my flexibility. So and karate has always been the disciplined sport, which is really good for kids growing up. But I always had my discipline of dance. So my focus was already there in something. So I really didn't need that. But he always wanted to get me into martial arts. And once I started doing karate, of which I ended up having a second-degree black belt. So it wasn't that I just did it a little and then went into another sport.
You did well at it, of course.
I excelled in it as well, which is something that he knew would happen. And just started competing a lot as kind of following in his footsteps because he was always competing. And then it just kind of snowballed into, going into
So karate led to kickboxing.
Yes. Yeah.
So, all right. So you were doing dance. This was the thing you wanted to do. You switch over now, you're doing kickboxing. How much of a sort of you've been seeing it, but how much of a jarring change was it for you as a person?
It really wasn't. Maybe because I had the discipline of karate before getting into kickboxing. So in karate, I was always competing as well. The thing about it is that I liked being in the spotlight. I tell people that. It's all about performing. So karate is a performance as well. Mm-hmm. And then kickboxing became a performance in boxing as well. So for me, it really wasn't about fighting, it was about performing.
All right, I want to explore that idea of it being about performing, but we need to go to the break. My guess is one of the newest inductees into the International Boxing Hall of Fame, Jamaica's most accomplished female boxer, Alicia "Slick" Ashley. And we're back with you on the other side of these messages.